Good morning and welcome to Live from FM 91, conversation and performance with some of the area's finest musicians and visiting guest artists. We are coming to you today from WGTE's Dana Performance Studio. I'm Brad Cresswell. Well, you may know him as the newly minted music director of the Toledo Symphony, but he also happens to be one of the world's greatest trombonists, Alain Trudel, who has joined us right here in the studio, along with pianist Valrie Kantorski. Welcome, Alain.
Thank you.
It's really a thrill to have you come in and perform for us today, because you really are. I'm not exaggerating when I say you're one of the world's greatest trombonists. I think everybody will agree with that. Would you agree with that?
You know what? It's like I see only my flaws when I play, so no, I wouldn't agree with that. But I think you would take all the top players of any field, tennis or whatever, or music, and they would all say, oh, no, I have to work on this, I have to work on that. So it's the same for me. The biggest thing for me is that, well, first of all, thank you for having me. Yeah. It's a joy to play music, to have my instrument and to play, because as you know, a conductor does a lot of, you influence and you inspire and you try to organize the sound and you try to make something special happen, but you don't actually make a sound, right? So it's nice to play an instrument and make a sound.
Yeah. Do you still get the opportunity to perform as a trombonist these days?
Oh, yes. I had a big tour in Europe in last May, and I have a recital coming up soon. I just have to pick my times because often as the duties of music director, you're very, very busy. Right. Like this week we have 4 concerts, plus I have all these fundraisers and meeting donors and meeting new people. And so it's, they're pretty full days. So you just have to make sure that you time it in a way that you can have a bit of leeway time to practice.
Leeway,
to practice a little bit before you do. I mean, I didn't time it perfectly this time, but it's okay.
Well, we're going to hear some music by Eugène Bozza. Can you tell us what this is?
Yes, I wanted to start our little recital and chat by playing something from the French school, because for the woodwind instrument and the brass instruments, most of the solo playing it comes from the tradition of the Paris Conservatory. So I want to play a French solo that's quite well known in the trombone world by a composer that's very well known in the trombone world, and then bring it and share it with everybody. The name of the composer is Eugène Bozza. And this piece, a wonderful piece, which shows as all the morceaux de concours, the final piece of your final exam, right? At the time, which shows different aspects of the instrument, different techniques. It always have a slow part, a little cadenza, different characteristics of the instrument, and then a fast, more virtuoso part at the end. So this is Ballade by Eugène Bozza.
We heard the Ballade by Eugène Bozza, that performance from trombonist Alain Trudel, joined by pianist Valrie Kantorski, right here in our Dana Performance Studio. It's live from FM 91. I'm Brad Cresswell, and Alain is with the microphone with me right now. And I want to ask you, Alain, let's talk just a little bit about how you got interested in the trombone. What sparked your love for the instrument, and how'd you end up where you are?
Oh, well, first of all, there's some chops left, so we can play some other pieces later, so that's good.
Yeah.
But I started off playing, well, I come from a very modest family, and we didn't have money for music lessons. And I want to play some music. Like my father was a jazz drummer and my mother was a cabaret singer. So I wanted to, do something, play something when I was about 12 years old. Well, I was exactly 12 years old. And with my friends from junior high school, we wanted to find something to do, and then this marching band, well, it's a brass band, let's say, from my neighborhood, was enrolling with some kids from the neighborhood. So with my friends, we went and we said, well, we'd like to join. And they told me, what do you want to play? You fill a little form that has 3 choices, of instrument you want to play. So I wrote drums, then trumpet. Then I didn't write anything for the third because I didn't know what else I could play, right? Yeah. So they told me, well, all of those instruments are taken. You're going to play valve trombone. I said, well, I want to be with my friends. Okay. So that was my first experience with trombone. So
valve trombone as opposed to slide trombone, right?
Yeah. It's kind of an arranged marriage with the valve trombone. And I played that for a little while, and we had 16 trombones in the band, because we have to have numbers to make a little square when do parades, right?
Yeah.
So I was number 16, and I worked, I wouldn't say it's not like I worked hard and I wanted to be the best. It's not that. I was just happy to be there making music, and within the next 2 years I got better and better, as usually people do when they work hard at something. And then I went in my high school. I want to continue to study trombone, and also I wanted to go to the conservatory. The Conservatoire in Montreal, all the conservatories in Quebec were free at the time. But you have to get in. You have to do an audition.
Right.
Now, they're not free anymore, but they're very, very cheap.
Did you have to play Bozza for that audition?
No, it's to get out. You play. They won't let you out if you can't play.
Yeah.
But it's like Hotel California, but with Bozza.
Right.
But what I thought was an opportunity for me to have free lessons with a member from the symphony. So I went, I did the audition. I got really lucky because I came in 4th and they took 2 and the 2 didn't go. So number 3 and 4 got in. So I'm like, you never know in life, right?
Yeah.
So I got in, and then I practiced. I didn't know any classical music. So for my audition at the conservatory, I played Misty. And I played an F scale, and the scale is what got me in because I had really good high chops. So I was able to play very high, and they said, oh, wait a second, there's something there we can work with. So finally I got in, I studied hard between 15, 16, 17. Then at 17 I made the finals for the Montreal Symphony, and didn't get it. Nobody got it. We were 2 in the finals. International audition. That was great. And I said, well, this is fun. And ignorance is bliss. So I was like, oh, this is fun.
Right.
And they offered us to play each a week. So we did that for 2 years. And then after that, on the second year, I got offered the position of principal trombone in Barcelona in Spain. Oh, okay. So, of course, I always wanted to live in Europe. So I went there and, continued to practice.
It just went from there. I mean, there are so many stories that we can tell, I'm sure. But this next piece of music is a real tour de force. I mean, I know that you do a lot of stuff with the trombone in this fantastic polka by Arthur Pryor. Can you introduce that for us?
Yeah. So Arthur Pryor was the solo trombone player of the John Philip Sousa band. Huh? And and he played only 10 years in the band. And he played over 10,000 times as a soloist. So it's 1,000 times a year. You know, those bands have 3 shows a day, right?
There's only 365 days, I was going to say.
I know, it's ridiculous. That's in his bio. It's incredible because they played 3 shows a day, 4 shows sometimes. And I guess maybe they counted the pieces that he played or something. But anyway, he was a very important musician at the turn of the century in America. And he went on to be one of the first recording artists. They went from rolls to actual records, the vinyls, and he was one of the busiest conductor. So I have an affinity with him because he's a virtuoso trombone player who went to become a conductor. And
this would have been the early 1900s, I imagine.
Yeah. He was in the band just before the 1900s to about 1900, and he went on to form his own Arthur Pryor Orchestra, which became a recording. They were recording artists.
Great. So we're going to hear the fantastic polka, music of Arthur Pryor, trombonist Alain Trudel with pianist Valrie Kantorski here on Live from FM 91. Music of Arthur Pryor. We heard the fantastic polka. That was trombonist Alain Trudel and pianist Valrie Kantorski. It's live from FM 91. I'm Brad Cresswell, and Alain Trudel is here with me. Watching you play that music, Alain, and listening to it, there seems like there were some extended techniques. There's some funny little noises coming out of the trombone there. What do you call it when you were doing, like you had two sounds going on in the lower register? What is that?
Well, it sounds like a double stop on a string instrument.
Yeah.
What you do is you actually play a note and sing the other note.
Ah, okay.
So you heard like playing in tenths, like the third and the other octave.
I thought it was like the, Buddhist monk throat singing kind of thing you had going on there.
I wish.
Yeah.
But no, so there's a lot of that, a lot of little slurs. And
that's written in the music.
No,
it's not.
That's he used to improvise all his cadenzas. So to stay stylistically correct, and I thank Valrie a lot for following all my little fancy little things in that. Yeah. It's not easy, right? Because it's the style of the period also is to play in a very stylish and free way, and to improvise your little cadenzas between each little sections.
Mm-hmm. So all the crazy little things were your idea.
Most of them, yes.
It's really a fantastic sound that you get in the trombone, and watching you play is so interesting because it's so precise and direct. And when I see you moving from position to position, it's almost like you get to the position well before you even make the sound. I see, like, I don't know, there's something that is a little disconcerting, I would say, to see that, because I think, well, it should be making that sound already. And, I don't know. This is a novice talking here about trombone technique. But
it's the most difficult thing on trombone, actually, is like legato playing, because you have to get the slide exactly at the same time as the articulation. It's a little bit what you were saying. It looks like it goes there in advance because you see the arm moving, but you have to move the arm exactly at the time. There's not like, I say that to students often, there's not like a grace period because you're a trombone player that you can go get there, right, and the next one. Otherwise, you gliss everywhere. You know. Sometimes you can use the gliss, like on the violin, to do some expression, which I've done in the pieces we've heard. But it's a lot of work because at the beginning, when you start doing it right, it feels very stiff because you go from one note, the next note, right? And it doesn't feel as natural. But eventually with time, it feels natural, but it still looks like you're really directly at the same place, on the next note. Yeah.
I guess that's what it was, is hearing this very legato sound come out and then see you moving so precisely and sharply with the trombone. It's an interesting juxtaposition there. I want to make sure that we mention a couple of concerts that you have ahead of you, not too far from now, on the 16th of November, I believe, and the 17th at the Peristyle. The Toledo Symphony is pairing up with the Toledo Symphony Youth Orchestra, doing a concert which includes A Hero's Life of Strauss. Yeah. Talk a little bit about your work with the Toledo Symphony Youth Orchestra, or at least what you have seen of them so far, being this being your first full season as music director.
Well, of course, it's not my work; it's the work of Wasim and his colleagues. They do an amazing job. We have three orchestras. We have one that is the Philharmonic, the Symphonic, and we have concert orchestra, like concert string orchestra. They're amazing. They're the ones I saw last month. I tried to go and say hi and conduct a rehearsal. I mean, it's mainly to keep a connection so that they feel that they're not that far from us, in the sense that when you're a student, you start playing music. Sometimes you're alone in your own little world and you think that the professional is like unreachable. And if you see like the music director coming to your rehearsal once in a while, then you say, oh, we're kind of colleagues. We're just really younger colleagues. It's like a lineage, and you're like the younger ones in that. So that's what we try to establish with them this year. I've seen all three orchestras. They're really doing a great job. I can't wait to have them with us on stage. They're going to play two pieces with us. They're going to play Hymn to the Republic, and they're going to play Summon the Heroes by John Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that first half, because, where it's a tribute to heroes and the 100th year of the...
I play it on the radio every time we ask for money. So.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And it's really, for me, it was one of the reasons why I took this job, actually, is that, the excellence of what we play. I mean, we're playing An Heldenleben. I mean, it's a great hero's life. It's a masterwork, and we work very hard on it. And like we played last month, all the repertoire that we play, we just work very hard to be as great an orchestra as we can be, and even better every time. But that's only one aspect of what we do. So the other aspect is, why do we play? We play in the community. We play for the people who are here. But the third one is, are we involved in education and passing the knowledge that we're lucky enough to have acquired to the next generation of musicians? And not just the knowledge, and not passing, but sharing. Sharing implies that we have to be together at some point. We have to make music together. So, and not just like teach like a master student, the relationship from a master to a student, but from colleagues to younger colleagues. So that's why we like to have a few of those in the year. Some, we call them side-by-side performances.
Yeah. Well, speaking of making music, we have one more piece of music we're going to hear from you, and this is by Gabriel Fauré. Will you introduce that for us?
Yes, of course. So the trombone, for me, is kind of a hybrid between the voice of a baritone singer, the cello, and a French horn. And that's the way I try to play it. So I'm kind of frustrated. I'm a frustrated baritone, a frustrated cellist, I'm a frustrated horn player, all wrapped in a trombone player. No, but seriously, we all try with our instruments to emulate the voice. The voice is like the top, the instrument. Of course, we say instrument, it's in our body, but it's the best thing you can do with music. It's just a voice that comes out, and it's so natural, it's organic, and it's like, there's magic to it. And the best, of course, repertoire, the songs. So I tried keeping that in mind, and to also show the voice of the trombone, to play something that we could say more cantabile, or a voice like. So I picked the Sicilienne by Gabriel Fauré, again in the French style, and it's originally for cello and piano, but as I said, it works very well on the trombone.
Trombonist Alain Trudel with pianist Valrie Kantorski here on Live from FM 91. Music of Gabriel Fauré, performed here in our Dana Performance Studio. We heard the Sicilienne. That was trombonist Alain Trudel, joined by pianist Valrie Kantorski. Alain, I want to thank you for coming in today. I do want to mention one other concert. It's a ways off in the future, but it should be on people's radar. If they want to see you perform on the stage in person, they have that opportunity coming up.
That's true, and it's a totally different kind of language. It's going to be in jazz, which is my first love and what my family, specialty, if I might say that, what my parents played. It's with Gene Denovi. It's after Christmas. If you go to our website, you can see exactly what it is and how to get tickets. And what's great about Gene Denovi, he's a pianist, and he's 90 years young. Wow. And he was one of the original bebop pianists. So he started his career when he was 14 with Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. Wow. Went on to play with Woody Herman, Artie Shaw, Duke Ellington. So it's like history of jazz there on stage with us. And he plays, and when we rehearse together, we play tunes. We try to figure out what we're going to play in different concerts, because we've done many concerts just trombone and piano. Like a kind of American songbook kind of concert, but not with a singer, but with trombone. And we'd play, and after like 2-3 hours, I say, Gene, do you think we can take a little break? Imagine how I feel. I'm asking this 90-year-old guy, can we take a little break? He says, oh, sure. And he keeps playing while I'm taking a break. I'm like, oh my God. So he's really a very, very special person. And I'm very glad to be able to introduce him to our audience here in Toledo.
Well, we can find out more about that at the website, as you mentioned, ToledoSymphony.com. My thanks to Alain Trudel, who is not only one of the great trombonists of our time, but also, of course, the music director of Toledo Symphony, joined today by the pianist Valrie Kantorski. Thanks to Valrie as well. You can hear previous episodes of Live from FM 91 on our website at WGTE.org. The broadcast engineer for our program is Chris Pfeiffer, who also handled our production mixing this morning. I'm your host, Brad Cresswell. Thanks for joining us today here on your public radio station, FM 91.